Welcome back to MrSealyp on Tour Farm Visits, Episode 5. Welcome back to another farm visit, MrSealyp on Tour. This is a very special one, very important to me. This person is very important to me. This person means a huge, huge deal to me. It's me. We've gone back in time. For the more astute and observant of you, that wondrous vista ahead of you is Bjornholm. We are on Farming Simulator 15. We've gone back to an old farm, an old me, a previous version of me. So I'm farm visiting myself. But back in the day, way back when, I'll have to delve through the depths of my memory. But that's what we're going to do. I've talked about this map a few times, things I did to it. What I'm finding fascinating is the differences between this and 17, but also the things that I think were better, that were, that really stood out to me, that I really, really liked about this. The first thing to me that's glaringly obvious is I assumed I'd come back on here and it would be quite poor graphics and all the rest of it. Not a chance. Giants had done a cracking job with this game already. The changes to 17 were more about mods, about the ability to adapt and to have more on your farm. The farms were here, the equipment was here, the basics was all here. They just added to it. The next step, the next evolution. This is still brilliant. I have kind of been whizzing around just having a quick look at what was going on the farm when unfortunately I was taken away to the grips of 17. But we're going to have a quick whiz round. Have a look at the map, a few musings from my younger self and a few weird schizophrenic conversations with my older self, which is going to seem a little bit peculiar, but please bear with me on this wondrous journey. As you can see in front of you here, some of the changes I made, and this is something I've talked about a lot on various different games I've done. We are looking at, can I zoom on that? I can. We are looking at field 30, 25, 24, 29, which is just to the east of the main farm. On this map, they're nice rectangular-ish fields. Looking in front of us, not the case. Watching at the time, watching lots of Daggerwin's videos. I was just getting into the game. This is 18 months ago plus, I suppose. I first started playing on 15. I didn't play on any of the previous versions, so I was relatively new to it. But watching a PC gamer and the different maps they had available, and Knaveswell Farm was the one that I first started watching, with the small fields and bending curved sides and hedgerows and lanes, and I wanted to make my map like that. I'm not on PC, so I couldn't go into Giants Editor and fiddle with the map and do anything like that, although I am looking at possibly doing that if I can get to a point where I can afford to buy a more, an up level PC. I've got a laptop, but it will not run how it needs to. Of actually having a go, taking a map, doing some editing, make it my own, maybe even have a go at making my own map. That's a long way down the line, we'll see. So what we'll do, we'll have a quick look around here, and then we'll kind of bounce around the farm and look at the farm and what the old MrSealyp has been up to. So this was all blended together. I added in curves and bends to the fields. I put in trees, planted trees into edges and corners and places where I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. I wanted to make it more kind of realistic in a way. I stuck that oak tree in the middle of the field, so when you do your harvesting and your planting and all the rest of it, you have to go around it. On the edges and corners, you can't just set a worker off on a rectangular field and off it goes. You had to come in and you had to do your edges. My mind's gone completely blank. Your headlands, blimey. You had to do your headlands. You had to get yourself into a situation where you could then hire a worker. But nice bends and curves and flow to the fields. I did put a lot of trees in, plant a load of trees, and I did place quite a few, as I recall. But it changes the look and the feel of the standard map, which on PS4 was the only way really I could get around doing it. The main farm didn't change very much. Obviously we had no placeables, no mods, couldn't do anything. But I've got all my seeders and a few bits in this barn here. Sammy tractor. I loved that tractor on 17. Real workhorse, relatively cheap, relatively high horsepower. Pretty good bit of kit that. Lemkin cultivator in the background. And again, moving on, what we've got going on in this field here, we have got a potato harvest going on. JCB filling up with fuel. The beauty of being able to dump your wood chips, which you can do, you can dump anywhere, you know, the drop anywhere situation we've got in 17, but this is where you had your kind of storage points. Sugar beet, potatoes, and then the conveyors out the back for reloading. We have got conveyor belts on 17 now, so you can have them out the front. Doesn't matter what you do. Plus there's root crop storage and all the other things we've got available to us, which is all rather wonderful. What else have we got going on? We've got the IT runner. That was a pack, as I recall. You had to buy that. Wasn't a mod. And the New Holland T8, is it 435 I think it was? Yeah, 435. Smart tracks. Wonderful. It's very eerie how it's been left, and it's just... I don't know if that was a car or an aeroplane. Anyway, just kind of left where it was. So what I normally do on my farm visits, I talk to the farmer, ask them what they've done, why they've done it. So I'm kind of having a weird kind of flashback, thinking about why I did certain things and then just saying them out loud. So not so much of a conversation, and then we get on to doing some work. So we'll do a little bit here and there. There's some things that will need to be done. I think looking over there, I'm at the moment on field 23, looking over to 37 and 36. 37 was changed quite a bit, well, as was 36. Let's jump in the smart track. I'll disconnect that. I'm always over in this. So I put trees all around the end of it here, and I kind of ploughed an end bit in as well to make it seem like it had a kind of field entrance, because I like the whole concept of gates and fences. So I kind of gave it an entrance way here, and you can see the sugar beet come right up to the edge here, and then bent it and curved it and added some nice little features in around the edges. Mostly trees. Like I say, the mods and placeable things weren't as available. This one, sugar beet harvest going on, harvester right up on the top of the field there. I extended from the rectangular field, curved it round. Don't know why I just did that. Camouflaged as a big pile of grass. Yeah, so this end was all bent round and curved, and trees were added, and giving it some nice features, I thought. Looking at the textures, remember, no crop destruction, no ground response mod. That was the texture you got, very flat, very plain. But then looking at some of the other things, the detailing's fantastic. The sway of the crops, the grasses with the various different things in there, buttercups and daisies, and is that lavender? Yeah, so wonderful. Right, what else have we got going on the farm? Well, the wheat harvest is progressing at the moment, and again a few of those little changes. Just to add a bit of personality to the situation. Now, had there been the fence and concrete post mod, and I had various different placeables, this map would have looked vastly different to how it looks now. But I think it's different enough from the original that it makes it interesting to play on. God, blimey, the brakes on this were horrendous. Come on, back up. We have a full tank. Well, that was pretty quick. Let's jump out. Of course, no auto engine off or on. You jump in, it turns on, you jump out, it turns off, which made logging a bit of a pain. In fact, it made it a lot of a pain. Lovely. There is another harvest going on. I'm trying to think now on field 27. We'll have a look at 27 and 22 I think, I hope you'll find that a bit interesting. Let's have a quick look. We are currently walking alongside field 22. If I look on the map, field 22 is a very rectangular field. Did I say map a minute ago? Probably. I meant field. We're walking on the side of field 22, not map 22. And you've got 19 just off to the sort of top left of field 22. But on the ground, again, a few changes. Got a grass strip across the middle, adds a bit of curvature to it, a few trees, we've got different crops either side. As we walk around the sides here, you can see, hopefully just off in the distance there, through the trees, the curve going off around up onto field 19. I joined 22 and 19 together and gave it a curve. That became a field of its own, and the bottom end of field 22 became a field of its own. So separate fields made out of the one. That's actually, I love that view from here, that sweep of the field up onto the hillside there. Lovely. So again, yeah, the changes that the old me made. Things that made me happy, that made me change things, and we have got a harvest going on over there as well, I believe. There's a case harvester just poking over the top of the crops. What else did I have going on? Think back, old MrSealyp. What did you have going on here? Ah, I remember. I know where we'll go to next. I am up at, well, just to the left of the east, no, the west of field 18, western edge of the map, and I'm at my kind of logging camp, if you want to call it that. Now, this was back in the day that this thing was a nightmare, and we didn't have the other wood chippers, and if I jumped into the tractor, you could run your wood chipper. I believe it was like so. Lovely. But because there was no auto engine on or off, as soon as I jumped out, the wood chipper stopped. So wood chipping on your own was a horrendous prospect. You couldn't pick up small logs that had been dropped on the floor. There's no little round dot in the middle of the screen which allows you that reticule for picking up. So yeah, bit of a downer, that one. However, on the plus side, we had this. Settings, camera sensitivity, vehicle arm sensitivity. That's missing on 17 on consoles. We need it. We need it back for this very reason. With that sensitivity on, look how differently this thing will move, how much quicker you can get stuff done. I mean, I've probably got the sensitivity turned up way too high on mine. However, when you're trying to do stuff and the boom in and out, you can do it slowly if you want to, but you don't need to. Drop the logs in, no problem at all. Much, much, much quicker. With the Scorpion King, it made life so much easier. So like I say, in some instances on 17 there have been vast improvements. On some, not so much. This is the same. Look at that boom speed. That's brilliant. No slow lumbering booms. So, one thing we lost, and we miss, we lament. We need it back, please. So there we go. That's another little touch. What else am I looking for? Oh yes, oh, I've got an IT runner bale log trailer there. Didn't know I had that sitting there. Over to, where am I going to next? Right. Silage harvest on corn or maize. Lovely. The big bud. Not big bud. The Crone Big X. What was that big bud for? The Big X 1100. Now, the Fleagle Ball trailers. We mentioned these in a recent episode, I think, myself and Silage, because she wanted the Fleagle Balls. Daisy chain two together. It would throw it into the back trailer first, as you can see, filling up. And then once that was full, it would throw it into the front one. Each one of these, I think, holds 32,000 litres, so it will swap in just a second. Hopefully. It was fortuitous. There we go. Header switches and puts into the front one. Now, I don't doubt that doesn't do that on 17. It obviously does. if I hook the fliegels together. We know that it will flick it to different trailers, but here's what I used to do. I've got my doubles, but if I swing round, I've also got 2 more on the back, so I'm hauling 4. So what I would do once the first 2 were full, because the pipe won't throw it into the 3rd trailer, I disconnect the whole lot, disconnect the back 2 and switch them round. So the front 2 are then empty, the back 2 are full, and I carry on. So by the time I finish, I've got 4 full trailers, 32,000 litres in each. It's a no-brainer. That then goes back to the biogas plant. But like I said, back in my youth, I was an impatient man. And it's not realistic. You wouldn't be hauling 4 of these. I must say it's not. If you have used a Chrome Big X1100 and you've hauled 4 trailers, let me know. But it doesn't look particularly realistic, and it was just done because it was quicker and easier, and getting the silage done meant you could make more money. Which brings me on to the next thing I want to look at on this farm. I'll just stop there. So I'm doing a little bit of farming, a little bit of something to help out the old MrSealyp. Well, not the old one, the young one, the older version of MrSealyp. That's what I meant, the younger me. So, where are we going to next? The biogas plant, Lizgas. This little beauty, the Kuhn SPV 12 Comfort. Lovely bit of kit, 12,000 litres capacity, self-propelled forage mixer, harvester, wagon, whatever you want to call it. If I jump in here and turn this on, when I edge forward, I can pick up silage. Again, this is no different to a self-propelled forage wagon on 17, but this is what I used to do. I've got quite a bit in there. Now these bunkers were easy to do, weren't they? You took it in, you dumped it, it put it in nice neat piles. No need for levelling and going backwards and forwards. It did need compacting, but it was a lot smoother and easier, and you know, somehow I like the newer version, but I miss the old way. I know it's more realistic now, and that's the whole point, is adding that realism to it, but I've got a fair bit on the go here actually, and there was a reason for that. The reason for doing the silaging, and I know it's another reason why it changed on 17, it was kind of too easy to make money then. If I take this in here, this is a bit of a cheat, but the unload symbol comes up. I've got to make sure I press the right button. There we go. That unloads there. There's no cell thing here, but it does technically put it in here into the anaerobic digesters, and my money is going up. My money's going up very, very nicely, because the prices for silage on 15 were amazing. The younger me, 19,296 for 12,000 litres. The good thing, I say the good thing, the different thing about it was, on 15, the prices only changed every hour. As the hour clicked over, it might change, it might go up, it might go down. Obviously on the new version, it will fluctuate with every load you tip. So I could plug away at this hour after hour, and the price wouldn't really fluctuate very, very much. And if you got a good price, for example, at the moment, I believe, if I press the right button, which is this one, what we're looking at, biogas, $1,608 per ton, which is roughly 1,000 litres. 1,600. That's an amazing price. Now the other thing that stands out with this as well is when you got a great demand on here, it was a proper great demand. If it was a great demand, the price would be double. It would go blue and it would be double what it was originally, not a little bit more. In some cases on 17 a little bit less. When you look around at what's available, although it's blue at that sell point, it's actually worse than some of the other sell points. On 15 it was proper great demand, big money. So you could make a killing doing silaging. Do enough of it. I mean, you do enough of it on 17, you're going to make money, but not as anywhere near as much as you would make on this. Talking of prices, let's have a quick look at prices. I'm quite impressed with the fact I've got 200,000 litres of most stuff. Potatoes 290,000. Wow. Let's have a look at prices. What have we got? Where are we? Oh, it's on there anyway, isn't it? What am I talking about? So we go across. We complain, I complain. You do first look map tours and you will say, oh, you know, prices are okay. They're pretty much standard Giants prices, not particularly great. Look at the prices on 15. They're not fantastic. The best crop you could do on here was canola. That was always around 1,000 roughly. Looking along the grain elevator, shipping office, transport company, they're all around the same. But nothing else really paid huge money. Bearing in mind we've got the extra crops in 17 as well, which really does help out. Wood chips on here sold, there we go, look at that, 1,240 for wood chips. I think you're getting around 272 now, sometimes lower, sometimes a little bit higher. That's an incredible price for wood chips. So silaging and wood chipping was well worth doing. Let's have a look at some animals. Oh look, back in the day as well, when this header actually would turn anything into chaff as well. So you could go along picking up grass, but you could also go along picking up straw swaths, and this header would turn it, chaff it, and you would have chaff. So, oh yeah, that again, worth its weight in gold. Where are we? Right, let's have a look at the cows. Oh, that doesn't open automatically for a person, does it? Of course it doesn't. So we are at the dairy farm. We are now at the bottom, let me think, southwest corner of the map. We are southwest corner. Got the New Holland T7. No, what was it? LM 742, is it? I can't remember now. It's so filthy, can't even tell. A few bits of equipment in here. Bale wrappers, windrowers. Oh, the big windrowers. Wow. A couple of JCBs knocking about. Stroutmans. More equipment over in the sheds there. Plenty of silage. The cows looking very happy. They're fed. They're water. Ah, they're not. They're not fed and watered. They're just fed. Back in the day, on this farm, we didn't give water to the animals. There was no point. There was every point, but you couldn't give them water. Of course you couldn't. Plus, the other thing that's just dawned on me, no pigs. We didn't have any pigs. I've got no pigs on this farm. We've got cows, we've got sheep, and we have chickens, but no pigs. Pigs was a pig mod on PC, so that's been a nice addition to 17. Now, that's just reminded me again, wow, this is amazing. Nostalgia. In here, these bales are the reason I YouTube. I know it sounds ridiculous. There are other reasons, people that inspired me to have a go, but I was one evening just playing quite happily to myself, and was stacking bales. I had one of the skid steers and I was stacking bales, and when I finished I thought, you know what, they're actually quite neat, a lot neater than I've ever managed to do before. So I hit the record button, boom, and thought I'll put that up, that would be interesting. That was the first time I ever recorded anything for YouTube, was doing those bales right there. Wow. And look where I am now. Doing the same thing, but just on different maps and things. Now, I apologise if you keep hearing pinging. One of my children has left a tablet or one of their phones about, and it's going off in my ear and driving me bonkers. Field 35 over there has changed hugely as well. I can't really tell from here, but it's all kind of curved and bent round, and again I've done a lot of changes to that. So what's left to look at? We've done looking up at the forestry, we've done silage harvesting, normal harvesting, we've looked at sugar beet potatoes, we've looked at the cows. Oh, sheep! We need to go and have a look at the sheep. Right, they're right across the other side of the map, aren't they? The northeast corner. This might take a while. So, northeast corner of the map. The other side. Wool pallets, but not the cages that we're used to now. The straps look a little bit funky, but I've got a full one on there. I remember doing all of this. The sheep are looking happy again. No water, just grass. They were quite happy with that. No water needed. And I don't think the cows the cows didn't need all the crops. Or I'm thinking of the pigs, aren't I? Yes, no, pigs. The cows had the same stuff, I think. Again, just no water. So, I think the old MrSealyp has done a cracking job on here. He agrees. He absolutely agrees. He's very happy with this farm. Yes, exactly. It's interesting coming back. I'm finding it fascinating. I don't know if you are. I hope you're enjoying it. I had something a little bit different. A different farm visit. I've got the Mengele on Golden Days of Farming. Yeah, wow, it's interesting to see it on the old version. Again, you look at the textures are slightly different. They're a little bit sharper on the new game. Of course they would be, would they? Something else I noticed as well, I'm using bale tines spikes rather than pallet forks. I used to have a hell of a time on here with pallet forks getting stuck into the pallets, so I swapped and started using these. Worked far better on 15, but there are so many different options available now in mods and stuff on 17 for different sets of pallet forks. You can always find a set to suit your needs. Right, we're almost done. I think we've been around quite a lot of the farm. We've done a little bit of work here and there, not a huge amount. So I think we'll finish off back at the main farm. We are back in the mighty Deutzfahr, and we are at the main farm. Another jet wash. Blimey, I was quite into my pressure washing then, wasn't I? Potato seeder, fertilizer spreader. Now, the last thing on my list of things to look at, the chickens. Now, the chickens were lovely. On 15 you didn't have pigs, but you had chickens, and you could have as many as you wanted. That was before the government clamped down. I'm waggling my fist in the air. Governments telling us how many eggs we're allowed to eat and how many chickens we can own. Now, you could buy chickens on 15, have as many as you liked. Obviously on 17 you get a set amount, and they stay. What's that tucked round there? Just suddenly saw a glint. Oh, it's a trailer. It's the Flegel low loader. But anyway, this is where I think we're going to probably finish off. Back at the chickens, collecting up some eggs from the coop. I found this fascinating and interesting. I hope you have too. I hope you've enjoyed it. Looking back in time at the old MrSealyp and his farm when he was but a young whippersnapper, all of 18 months to 2 years ago. It seems like a lifetime ago. That's something else I noticed, I have to say. Difference between 15 and 17, especially on PS4, I noticed a lot on the tractors. Whilst we have now got like the tyre deformation, and when you get loads and weights the tyres deform and all the rest of it, what is missing a lot of time is that suspension movement. We had it on 15. Look at the way the wheels are moving with the suspension. On 17 it's a lot stiffer. You've got the tyre deformation, but you've lost that suspension travel. I don't know if anyone's noticed it on PS4, but when you drive your tractors around they do seem a bit stiff and bouncy. Just realised that, yeah, look how the way that back axle, the wheels going up into the wheel arch, like that. Anyway, let's stop there. I'm going to go, have a cup of tea, put my feet up. Hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, from the old me and the new me. Thanks for watching.